Alright guys, so we got to talk about some interesting news here that has come out revolving the Arizona governor race, or the contested governor race, that Kari Lake is fighting in court. Now, last time I covered this yesterday, I told you guys that Katie Hobbs had requested for sanctions to be slapped on Kari Lake for bringing a frivolous lawsuit to court, aka she was requesting over $500,000 in sanctions against Kari Lake simply for questioning an election that, you know, you can argue has some issues, and Katie Hobbs just happens to oversee, right? Apparently, it is a thought crime to basically, you know, try to take it to trial and to see if there are any problems that should be corrected, or is there anything that went wrong, to essentially make sure that democracy is working correctly, okay? Apparently, Democrats don't like that, okay? They don't like it so much that they will try to bankrupt you for it, okay? And that is what Katie Hobbs attempted to do to Kari Lake by requesting a $500,000 sanction against Kari Lake simply for, again, trying to uphold democracy. It's just funny how that works. These are people that claim they love democracy, except when it comes time to actually, you know, uphold the fundamentals of democracy. And I think that one of the fundamentals of democracy is being able to question whether or not it is working correctly, or whether or not the system that we use to ensure that our democracy and the system is working with integrity. I don't think that there's anything wrong to check that, right? The only people that have any issues, or that should have any issues with people trying to make sure that our democracy is running correctly and that things are being done fairly, are people who are doing things that are not fair, right? People who have stuff to hide. If you have nothing to hide, if everything was 100% free and fair, you should welcome challenges. You should say, yeah, bring it on. Challenge me. Because I know that it was 100% free and fair. I know you're not going to find anything, so it doesn't matter. But that's not the stance that Katie Hobbs is taking. She's actually super salty at Kari Lake for even, again, questioning the outcome of the election and taking it to trial. So with that being said, we got to talk about some news here, some updated news in regards to Katie Hobbs' frivolous sanction request against Kari Lake. The judge has denied Hobbs' request to sanction Lake over Arizona election claims. So yeah, a judge has basically rejected Hobbs' request for sanctions because it was very obvious that she was doing this as revenge. She was doing this as retaliation. She was trying to get some of her Democrat colleague lawyers paid, right? That's what she was trying to do. So let's read about this. An Arizona judge on Tuesday rejected a request to sanction Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake over her lawsuit challenging her defeat. Maricopa County and Katie Hobbs, in her capacities as both governor-elect and Secretary of State, had asked the judge to require Lake and her legal team to pay all parties attorney fees, arguing the suit was groundless and made in bad faith. I don't think it was made in bad faith, and I also don't think it was groundless. Right. Now, again, whether or not it's actually going to be successful, you know, that's a whole different question. But I don't think it was groundless, and I don't think it was made in bad faith. The shenanigans that have been going on in Maricopa County, specifically in regards to just getting votes counted efficiently, right? Not making election day in Arizona a whole election week because we're waiting for that county to finish counting votes, right? It takes them forever. This is just not a problem that happened in 2022. It also happened in 2020, and Arizona is just notoriously bad at running their elections, and I think that it should be cleaned up. And if it takes lawsuits and challenges to make sure it gets cleaned up, then I think that that's a good thing, right? I think that's a good thing for our republic, because maybe they'll actually restore more faith in our elections if, you know, Arizona can actually get their ish together when it comes to being able to, at the very least, count votes efficiently. Wouldn't leave too many rooms for questions if they actually can get votes counted on the first night, right? But apparently that's impossible. Okay, that's impossible in a first world country. Okay, it really blows my mind. Maricopa County Superior Court Judge Peter Thompson, in Tuesday's decision, reiterated that Lake did not meet the burden of providing clear and convincing evidence of her claims necessary to win the case, but he said her suit did not meet the standard for imposing sanctions. Quote, there's no doubt that each side believes firmly in its position with great conviction. Thompson ruled on Tuesday, quote, the fact that plaintiff failed to meet the burden of clear and convincing evidence required does not equate to a finding that her claims were or were not groundless and presented in bad faith. Any legal decision must be based on the law and facts rather than subjective beliefs or partisan opinions, no matter how strongly held. Yeah, so basically what the judge is saying here is that, look, he believes that Kari Lake believes the claims that she's making, right? She wholeheartedly believes those claims, and she's not just doing this, just as a way to, I don't know, grift, right? Which is what, the Democrats are claiming, okay? When Stacey Abrams was doing that, though, when she was on the election was stolen grift, they had nothing to say, right? When we know for sure, clearly, votes are not being suppressed in Georgia, considering the voter turnout in Georgia. But Democrats ran with her claims anyways as if they were facts. Okay, they never, ever, ever questioned the fact that she was raising millions of dollars off of these false claims, filing these frivolous election lawsuits that got rejected in court, claiming that Georgia's voting system was systemically racist and a violation of the Voting Rights Act. Right? Again, unfounded claims that never went anywhere. But again, Democrats had nothing to say about it. It was totally fine with that. But when Kari Lake, though, when she gets her day in court, oh, it's terrible, right? Oh, she got to be sanctioned. Okay, we're going to try to bankrupt her. Again, it's silly. This is Democrats trying to punish people for thought, right? Just for simply thinking or having questions about the election. They're like, we're going to bankrupt you for it, right? That's the Democrats. Thompson's ruling, however, does require Lake to reimburse Hobbs $33,040.50 for certain costs incurred during the proceedings in accordance with other state statutes applicable because Lake did not win the case, which I think that's reasonable. Okay, she didn't win. She should have to pay basic fees, right? I mean, I don't think that that's unreasonable. Those costs include $28,351 in fees for expert witnesses called by Hobbs and $4,689.50 in compensation paid to Hobbs' representative who attended ballot inspections prior to trial. Lake's campaign has vowed to appeal the judge's dismissal of the case, standing by the unproven allegations of misconduct and railing against Hobbs' sanctions push. Maricopa County and Hobbs had argued Lake and her attorneys should have known that they had no evidence to successfully mount an election challenge, also noting Lake's refusal to commit to accepting the election results prior to the midterms. All right, so with that being said, there's no longer speculation about whether or not Kari Lake is going to appeal. She actually has issued an appeal to the judge's dismissal of the Arizona election challenge. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Kari Lake continues to fight and fight and fight. I mean, she claims she's going to take it all the way to the Supreme Court. Right? We'll see if that happens. But again, this is her basically fulfilling her promise and saying that she's not giving up on this. So let's read here. Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake is appealing a Maricopa County judge's decision to dismiss her lawsuit challenging her midterm defeat. Lake filed a notice of appeal Tuesday in Arizona Superior Court to contest the dismissal of 2 counts that went to court for a 2-day trial, as well as other counts that never made it to trial. The short trial found that she didn't have enough evidence to back up her claims that local election officials committed intentional misconduct that impacted the race between Lake and Governor-elect Katie Hobbs, which Lake lost by some 17,000 votes. Quote, I am standing up for the people of this state, the people who were done wrong on election day, and the millions of people who live outside of Maricopa County whose votes was watered down by this bogus election in Maricopa County, Lake said in an appearance on Steve Bannon's War Room podcast, which she shared to her Twitter feed on Tuesday. Tuesday's filing also says Lake will seek direct review by the Arizona Supreme Court. Lake had made it clear after last week's ruling that she intended to appeal the decision. Quote, my election case provided the world with evidence that proves our elections are run outside of the law. This judge did not rule in our favor. However, for the sake of restoring faith and honesty in our elections, I will appeal his ruling, Lake said just before Christmas. Yeah, so, I hope that whatever happens here, Lake can put up a better case than she did before. Right? Let's hope that she can, if she really wants to take this as far as she can. But regardless, I don't see a problem with what she's doing. If she wants to continue to do it, fine. Right? And, if she has a case, if she has evidence, then I believe that ultimately that will show up, okay? But if she doesn't, and she can't prove her case, then she won't be able to, and that just will be the end of it. But I think, again, this retaliation from Katie Hobbs is really childish, but nobody should be surprised considering how this person campaigned from her basement and didn't even have the cojones to debate Kari Lake on stage, right? She's so afraid of Kari Lake that she stoops to the level of trying to basically, again, bankrupt Kari Lake over simply having thoughts or opinions that she disagrees with. It really is childish. This is not somebody that should be running the state of Arizona. She should be running a gas station, right? Let alone a whole state. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.